Yeah. Okay. So, good evening to all present here for our today's session. That is for need assessment. Need assessment is the first criteria where we are actually, whenever any of the project for the CSR we are going for, that is the preliminary thing for which we are actually exercising. That is the need assessment. And today we have an eminent speakers among us. Two of the eminent speakers, Dr. Shivani Misraji and Mrs. Meghna Joshi. So let me give an introduction of these two speakers first, and then Shivani Madam will actually take on the first session, the technical session one, and followed by Shivani Madam, Ms. Meghna will actually speak on that need assessment. And on the finish of today's session, I will speak on if at all something is left out and the closing note of those things. So let me give an, please allow me to introduce all the speakers here for today. So starting from first, Dr. Shivani Misra, ma'am. Dr. Shivani Misra, madam, is actually presently, she is heading as a director for the Department of Social Work in Sardar Patel University. She is having a 19 years of social work experience as a social work educator. And to her credit, of course, there are 5 books, 36 papers, national and international journals, 11 research projects, and of course, he has conducted 131 sessions on genders, research, and current affairs. So that is how the legacy of her actually into the social field and social work she is working on. Coming on to next, Ms. Meghna Joshi, she is a social entrepreneur. Just now, she has started up her own startup called as SWAN. SWAN stands for Skilled Workforce Advanced Nations, aims at empowering the youthful workforce to specially designate training. And she is, of course, aligned with aligned with many other organizations. She is a life coach trained by Middle Earth and HR and Carlton Advanced Management Institute. And she is currently a mentee of Foundation for Women also. She is also representing state president of Wiki, Delhi Startup Council. So welcome all board on for today's session. I'm looking forward to hear how exactly the need assessment is the primary thing, and it is of course changing the shape of the CSR and changing the shape of CSR projects. So rolling on to Shivani Madam first. Thank you, ma'am.
So am I audible?
Yeah, you are. Better, madam, if you can switch on your video too.
No, definitely I will, but I am on inverter because I just lost the power.
Got it.
Moment it will come, I will.
Right? Okay, thank you.
So thank you so much, Pradeep sir, for giving me again an opportunity to share my thoughts on the project that I am working in, and 2 of my students is also working on the CSR. We are working specifically with several industries in the Baroda and as well as the outskirts of the Baroda, that is in the tribal area. So today I would like to share my research experience, what we have done. And this is the fund. I'm not specifically going to mention the industry's name, the confidentiality I have to maintain, but definitely how we have conducted all the projects. And through the research experience, I can able to tell you that how we have worked on methodology, the sample selections, and what are the results. So we have a team wherein, so it's a collaborative project, industry and academia, and very first day our chief guest has rightly mentions there is need of an academia to work on the CSR. And that motivates me to, that yes, we are on the right track, because academia people is a person who can work more on the research part. So this is what we have done, a research on quantitative and qualitative base. We have first worked on the impact assessment, and then we have worked on the need assessment. In impact assessment, we work on the quantitative aspects. In need assessment, we work on the qualitative aspects by keeping in mind the focus group discussions. And because it's needed, it's one of the methods that I follow is of a mixed methodology. And that mixed methodology will definitely to understand you the insight of the informations. I never say as of now over here the word problem, because problem we have not find anything. We try to understand the status. We are working more on the policy aspects. Now this is how by now it's covered. So we know that we have work on the local community, general public. This is what the business have their own social responsibilities. And whenever the word social responsibility will cover, it's needed that there is a need of two type of contact within people, maybe direct contact and indirect contact. So we insist industries also that if you want to carry out the impact assessment or need assessment study, it's needed that we will cover both indirect and direct beneficiaries, because every time target group views will definitely we will cover, but every time it is not so. There are suppose if you will the company has work on the constructions of road, so you will find more indirect beneficiaries over there rather than the direct beneficiaries, right? If you the company had worked upon the hospitals, right? So we'll find a direct as well as indirect beneficiary. So this is how we have worked upon. We also know that responsible business the company is working on, and being a social worker and the social work educator, I believe I always try to focus myself to understand the social purpose of a business, because that is all required. You ultimately, I always, whenever I have orientation with my PhD student, I always say that ultimately the purpose of any research is to work for the society, to give contribution to the society. Similarly, on same line, the business also the same part, because if there is no social consciousness, then there is no point to work upon. Giving back to the society matters a lot. SDG, we know that we have to work on the SDG. There is no, so this is how 4P is required to work upon. The people, the prosperity, the peace, everything is required that we are talking about, right? So this is how, if there is no partnerships, this is how I have carried out so many partnerships with the industries to work on the research aspects. We had also worked with the several stakeholders, because ultimately why we are doing so? We are doing so for prosperity and the peace, and for that purpose it is required to work upon. So this is how we have talk on those lines, and the CSR is nothing, rotate around this, and this should be a foundation of CSR activities in the corporate. Similar line, it's not off the track, but let me tell you, we are also working on ISR, institutional social responsibility of our university. And we have adopted the village. We are working on the education as such as of now with unlimited funding. So in educations, when putting your own efforts, it is for infrastructure, definitely required a funding. But while teaching students, I myself teaching a preschool children. So for that, your funding is not required. Your ultimately partnerships, your ultimately intentions to work with the people. So I will add another P is called as a perceptions. If there is a perception, definitely things will work out. So we have done a CSR project of 5 years of one of the company that they had approached us, and we'll try to understand that how the people perceive their activities, because 5 years had already done, and they know, and they have realized that yes, the quality of life they have, because they want everything on the black and white, and this is how they approach us. So we make it a point to work on the this project analysis by keeping account their own CSR activities, right? And I said, first, perceptions matter a lot. If people don't perceive, nothing will work out there, because if there is a perceptions in the positive aspect, of course you can talk about the community engagement. You can talk about the community engagement. And we all know that whenever we work on the corporate India is today playing a significant role, and the significant role is you will find in the social two things, that is socio-economic development, and because it's required a commitment, I think not only corporate, but it required the commitment of our academia people also to work for the humanity. So intensifying role has to understand. So this is how with this project, we try to understand the company's intensifying role, how they work on the scale of process, how they work on the, how they are using their profit, this donation making business with these people, because for many a time CSR become a business for many organizations, right? Are they working for the surviveness? So with so many questions, we had worked upon that. And specifically for surviveness, for a sustainable development, it's required to work on a livelihood. They had also worked on the education's program. So we have put it a purpose on our mind that does the quality of education will improve. On same line, we try to understand health and sanitation facilities in the villages. What is the infrastructure development in the schools? Because governments are doing a lot on it. We wonder how corporate had joined the hand with the government, or will they have standalone approach? How the employee is working, because if my organizations, being a director of my organizations, and when I adopted a village, and when I shared with my employee that, including me, we have to go early in the morning or late in the evening, we have to spend time with the people, with preschool children and the primary, and we have to give our best to them. If my team will not ready to work upon, definitely it will not going to, because how long I alone can work upon, right? So in that constant, it is required the employee assistance, because many times people came and tell me, okay, madam, roj, how can we go there? What about the money aspects and those things? So welfare, welfare is definitely needed the support of and capital. So in that financials, so right, in that case also, it is required that, you seriously work on the employee assistance, and that matters a lot. So scope of the work, that 5 years we have, as I had already said, need an assessment survey for the activity proposed. We have tried to work upon the household service, and I think in one of my slide I have specifically mentioned that 29 villages that we had covered and the household that we have worked upon. So so this is how we have worked on an impact assessment. Try to understand that, educations, how the road part, how the health part people are working on. This is our basic needs required, and we try to understand the villages, that how far they are away from the streamline, right? And this is the 7th point is often, and being a gender trainer, I specifically put what 7th point is often Beti Bachao. Try to understand that, how they are working upon, because and how they have joined with the government or they are standalone operation. Rest is of our day-to-day activities is required to work upon, and the villages are so far. So for that, certain parts we have thought of. In infrastructure also, we thought of, Gram Panchayat, how we have worked on, because, I had also worked with my team. We had worked on the Sansar Adarsh Gram Yojana. I had also worked upon the rural urban mission. Why? The reason behind is that with this experience, I came to know the government is already working upon. Many political people are working upon all this infrastructure and those things, and there is provisions are there. So money is not an issue over there. So if corporate had not joined with the government, if they are working on their standalone activities, so how it is working on? Because if Gram Panchayat, they said that they had worked upon the infrastructures, then we have to look upon that which other schemes that government is not influencing over there, right? So this is how we try to, segregate those activities. Anganwadi, we had put upon enrollment, because, we prepared the student we prepared the child for the school readiness. So it's required that in Anganwadi, all the activities, since UNICEF are working, right? UNICEF people are working in this, but thereafter, in every activities, we try to extract their roles. It should not be the rule need not to be mingled. Then only you can talk about the impact assessments, right? So in Anganwadi, we try to understand this part, how they are giving grant to the schools, how they are working on the road infrastructures, right? And the road, it is required because, road leads to a development. I remember in 2000, one of my students came with me and in Anfield and told me that she want to do a project on the road. It's the first part, first I deny. I said, road may say how, what you are going to find out. And my student tell me that, madam, sit with me. I want to do a presentation in front of you and will tell you how road leads to a development. And we had a number of sessions with that. And that struck me right now also that road development matters a lot because you can access many things. So this is how we have worked upon. Beneficiaries, we have took upon this, the beneficiaries who are given training for the skill development. We are working a lot on the skill development. And if you're talking about sustainable development, if you're talking about the prosperity, it is required that your village people are skilled. Try to locate the skill among the villager, right? So that, today and tomorrow, if industry will take up their role and back. So it's a community people who can go for the engagement, go for the partnership, can work upon. This is what for their the animal husbandry, the low smoke chulas, and Anand is a favorite. It's a epicenter. You can talk about the low smoke chulas. Many researches has taken place over here. So this is how we have solar. We know that government is also promoting. So we also want to understand that why these people are working on the solar. SSG, we know this is the thing that in a deep manner, we want to understand that how the SSG they are providing, because, many SSGs schemes are there in the government, and thereafter how they work on the sustainability. Then we went for a qualitative study, try to understand the focus group decision with the Panchayat, because, many a time you will find the infrastructures and those things. And suppose one of my experience in one of the project of Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana also, when people are, when I found the road, and that very near, and it goes to the schools and those things. And then I said, yes, aapke wahan to sadak aayi gayi hai, then, you should be happy and those things. They said, no, we don't want this road. We want the road from that size because our access is there, So this is how, when the road development was done, when the infrastructures were, if beneficiaries will not taken into confidence and people are doing. So for that, we thought of, let's go for need assessments, because many a times you will find the things very easily, but when you go for in depth, you will come to know that the infrastructure is there, but it's not need based, right? So for that we can go. So this is what our sample size I have said, and this is how the things that we have done, and we try to cover in the 29 villages, right? And this 161 group that we work upon. The objective is clear enough. Socio-economic development impact, we want to know the current structures, we want to know, we are working on the stakeholder analysis, we are taking the company people, we are taking beneficiaries, both direct and indirect, and we make it a point the key persons in the organizations they are working on, right? And we did some technical analysis, try to understand their expenditure better. So this is what the steps that we have to work upon, and then we have to go for. This is the sample household survey that we have done, and this is how the interview that we have conducted, and these are the area that we give a specifically more important part of. So this is the result, specifically the result we get very positive, because company is it's a government company. So of course, as a researcher, we should not have a never bias. So thereafter, when we discuss in our team, then they said, ma'am, we might find, it's maybe only for a sake of doing the CSR activities, but all this has not worked out. Our team hypothesis is refute, and we came to know that they are working a lot for the community engagement. They give a much importance of perceptions, and that catch my eyes, that very touch to my heart, that when I came to know that working a lot on the perceptions and attitude, and that matters a lot. They are working on the community engagement. So, it is required to work upon the participative decision making. If there is no participative decision making, so you thought of, if company had thought of that we have a certain amount of money and we want to spend it in this manner, so it's not so. It's required that you take the help of the community. Why we are putting a Gram Sabha. On similar line, I had found that companies also working on the Sabha. That's not in Gram Sabha, but they are working on the Sabha. They call all the key people, and they make it a point that it's a balance, because moment I came to know that they form a key, the first questions which I asked to the panchayat and those people that, are you calling it, I mean, are you involved women in all this program? And they have said, no, ma'am, we are working on the gender balance. Why it is so? Because the SSG and those things, the women are have their key role to work upon. So it's a very positive science I had found, and because then only the acceptance will come. Livelihood, of course, they are exploring a lot, because all the talent in the community are being explored, and they are, of course, we know about SSG a lot, but sustainability in many SSG is not there. So when I visited the place of Rajasthan and several place of, and not as a part of this project, but other the SEGI project, when I visited, the first question when I asked the SSG people, and that did you survive if the fund and those things, who is there to help? Then they said that, many a time we won't be able to survive. Same question when I asked over here, they said, yes, we have never fear in our mind of a surviveness, because we know any point of time the company people will come and to work up. So that when you get a trust, when you will have a confidence, when you will get a trust from the people, then it is too easy to go for a risk taking, because someone is there to work. So it's a calculative risk. I have found that SSG people are working. But yeah, significant changes are there in the education, but needs a lot, because when I meet the parents, when I meet the students, the teachers, I found that significant changes is there, but this required a more extensive work process on the part of the company. Company have to do, because they have work on the schools and infrastructure, everything, class was sab badhiya, but no one is there to attend. What's the point of it? So for that it is required. Same way health program, it's a before I'm talking about COVID, right? So in health program, I had found it's a well acclaimed, because there is a mobile unit, and this is how every time you can't call 108, because it's too tough. So they have provide the mobile unit and those things. So that they preferred a lot on it, because now also when I did a survey during, and I asked them that which facilities would you prefer? There are today also I get the same result either in the Rajasthan or in the Gujarat. I have worked in both the states, and I found that now also people firmly rely on the private sectors, right? And this is therefore I found that they had worked a lot. Sanitation, fine enough. This here I said, you can, some contrast of the data you will find out. School infrastructure, definitely school infrastructure, they have worked a lot. But when you talk about education, say it's required at 2 things. That shows that materialist things is not enough to go for a quality education. So with this, we have done a qualitative analysis, and the same point we had worked upon. In quality analysis, same thing we have done. We have thought of to go for, and and we had a number of sessions with them. People will try to understand. Even in the report also, what we have done, we did a narrative recording of it. Their words we have put, we didn't use single interpretations of ours. Suppose if they have work on multi-purpose shade in the schools, right? So we ask the principals, the teachers, and the most beneficiaries, children, right? We ask them, and whatever the word they had used, same thing we had put it in the research, because that shows the impact of your research. If you interpret, it doesn't make any. Same in SSG also we have done, right? So we make it a point, let's have a narrative recording of it, and then we, in qualitative analysis, we did a thematic analysis also, but we give much importance to it. So that realize, if I've not visited village as an corporate people, I have not visited village, but beneficiaries words and statement will realize me to go for that imagination how the successful program is. And therefore we gave a much importance to such narrative recording, and we try to understand what we did little bit of quantity analysis of understanding how they have established and of the SSG, because they said yes, success, but thereafter onward when we try to understand, many SSG they have started in the 2009. So from 2009 still it is working, and we try to understand we have literally check their passbooks. We have literally understand their all the portfolios of loan, how many get. And here we can say that yes, the prosperity you will find in those things. So on similar line, we have done in the animal husbandry, why this education, when it is so, I found that they are being trained for a basic educations. Many women are not trained, but they are being trained for this, and they are working on this. So all the money lending activities women are doing. And similarly, I had found that when they work upon the skill development, so skill development, if fund is required, this SSG people are giving the fund. So kya ho gaya? The resource utilization from village itself only, resource mobilization from village itself only, right? So that leads to the sustainability. I always find so. So similarly, in every point, we are trying to understand all these critical analysis of it. So the point is that yes, of course, many projects will come with have their own area of concern is there, area of improvement is there. So this is how we shared with the companies that please give importance to more to the children educations. That matter is a lot. Other things are fine enough. So with these notes, I had shared my thoughts on the research experience that I have done in the both the qualitative and the quantitative analysis, and try to make it a point that this, if CSR activities will definitely help you to achieve the SDG, then I say we can talk about the successful of the work. Merely spending on the expenditure doesn't make any sense. You will find as 10 lakh tha, kal 20 lakh tha, doesn't make any sense. It should definitely going to have a work upon the SDG. So thank you, Pradeep ji, for giving me an opportunity to share my research experience too. Over to you, Pradeep ji.
Sir, you are on mute.
Thanks, Dr. Simani Madam, for sharing your thoughts and sharing your experience on the research. We have two questions from Sriyajan. Sriyajan, if you can unmute yourself, or Blinta can take that question. Please read out the question so that we can.
So Shivani, as you said that there is a lot of financial awareness training issues, and we at so basically at Psychology Connect, when we talk to people in layman, like even in proper cities like Mumbai, Bangalore, people don't know basic terminologies when it comes to women for what we say training and development in health and hygiene sector, or when it comes to various things in financial literacy. Like there is a lot of problem which goes around for this. So how do we cater to this, and how do we reduce these things that related to gender identity, sexual identity, because these are very basic things. And mental health also, when we talk, people don't know the difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist also in that case, in many of the places, like in cities also proper. So villagers, it's a different thing. They don't know what it is, and they get into the wrong practices, like you said earlier, Rajasthan. So Rajasthan people know that there is something called as, okay, this person is this way, but they don't know that, okay, this person may be a schizo, may be having schizophrenia, or is getting a panic attack. So how do we do the myth busting over there?
Thanks. I really like your questions, the way you put up. See, in our social work, we always make it a point, and this is how I practice in my all the research projects, that first develop the rapport building with the people. If you have to sit with the people, sit with them, try to understand the things. That is the first thing. Second thing, when you talk about the language and those things, let me tell you, I learned a Gujarati, being from the North State. I learned a Gujarati and try to sit with the people, because we live in the village itself only. Discuss with them. It is not so I visited the village for the period of 1 or 2 hours and then get back to my, no. In both in Rajasthan also and in the Gujarat also, I be there in the villages, discuss with the people and try to understand. That is the second thing that I work upon. That is, I agree that कितने लोग is not aware of certain things, right? But point is that आप अगर उनकी भाषा में, you will try to speak in their own language, they try to relate it very fast. But if you come with your own jargons, if you come with your own understanding, definitely, very blank face they will come. And this is what one of my team member had experienced, even in the Rajasthan also and the Gujarat also, when she shared with them about the livelihood, suddenly that woman says, no, this is what we are not doing. आप जो बोल रहे हैं ना, ऐसे हम कपड़ा नहीं लेके आते, हम कपड़ा वहां से लेके आते हैं और ऐसे काम करते हैं, आपको बिजनेस, शायद आपके वहां ऐसा बिजनेस होगा, हमारे वहां ऐसा नहीं था. द सप्लाई चेन मैनेजमेंट माय स्टूडेंट ट्राई टू एबल टू एक्सप्रेस इन टर्म्स ऑफ द बुक्स ओनली, और वो समझने का कार्य है. देन वी स्टॉप एंड आई सेड, अच्छा आप बताएं कि आप लोग किस तरह से बिजनेस डेवलप करके कैसे काम है. एंड देन शी एक्सप्लेन, so therefore it is required to see, टेक मी ऑन पॉजिटिवनेस. सबसे पहले हमारे मिथ को काटने की जरूरत है, उनके मिथ से.
एग्जैक्टली, तो मुझे वही है, मतलब मैंने जब आपको बोला, so the first point what I highlighted was that अपने बॉम्बे सिटीज में ही लोगों को बोलेगी कि इसको पैनिक अटैक है, लेट्स से दिस इज अ वेरी कैजुअल थिंग, सोशल एंजाइटी हो गया लेट्स से, तो वो क्या बोलेगी, अरे नहीं यार ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं है, लेट्स गो आउट, यू विल बी ऑल राइट. लाइक अपने यहाँ पे सिटी में ही नहीं है, रूरल का. आई गॉट योर पॉइंट बिकॉज पर्सनली आई एम फ्रॉम राजस्थान. So when I go in Rajasthan and I talk to them in their regional language, I have seen the difference, animal husbandry, what we were discussing, and things that way. So when my dadi also goes, there's a huge difference between it, like the way they do their things and their understanding towards it. Like, so when we talk to them in their terms, absolutely right. But then wo acceptance or wo rigidity kahan pe aa jata hai, they are like, they'll do it for a few times, they'll feel okay, this is beneficial. And a lot of people from Rajasthan, and I live in a proper village of Rajasthan, so where my family is there, we originally are from this, so they come over here, they reside and they see the difference. So वो पास ऑन होता है, बट यहाँ पे भी तो रॉन्ग इन्फॉर्मेशन है ना जो उनको जा रही है. So how do we bridge that gap of information?
That I agree. That is also agree. So whenever we go for a research, first I orient to my team member and tell them that cut down your biasness, cut down your prejudice, locate your myth, and then you start to visit the village. Otherwise, don't do so, because they have their own thought of working, they have their own thought of way of dealing with people. So directly, if you anytime if you tell that no, this could not be there, this is there, so of course the barriers will come, they will not join, because in every project it's required that you avoid C and accept C. Accept C means you work on the cooperations and you avoid the conflict. If you do so, I think in more way of practicing the things will work out.
So how do we do a survey of these things? Like survey?
No, we did I'm telling you, I've by now 1770. I visited 140 villages. In first phase, 140 villages, 70 villages from Rajasthan, 70 from. In second phase, again 140 villages I have visited. And in third phase, I have visited 29. So, in this research, from the research perspective only. And then I came to know, I बोलते हैं गड़ पे जब हर साथ पे पानी बदल जाता है, बोली चाली बदल जाती है, everything is changed. So within Rajasthan, no, even within Gujarat, where I lived in, you will find a much difference in their language, their culture patterns and everything, right? So ये इतने सारे approximately 250 village में घूमने से I realized that things is required, अपनी एक notes बनाओ. I always tell students, my team, even I tell to myself also, please prepare your field notes, work on your field notes, because these become your guideline to work with another villages. वो आपको कहीं किताब में everything मिलेगा, मैं मना नहीं कर रही, नहीं, because what first is your experience matter a lot, right? So this is how I practice and this is how I learn from my experience only, right?
Yeah, because their ethnology matters a lot for us.
Yes.
Their culture, their beliefs and everything. And but it's easier to, you know, make them, when you understand their culture, you understand their ideologies, to make them understand what is right and wrong, giving them examples and making them consciously realize what is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So one of my student had one of my team had done a great mistakes. एक गांव में से आने के बाद and he discussed with me. I said, okay, fine enough. Don't discuss with the other villages. Just be with you. Write in your field notes. We will have a conference at night and we can work upon. अब जैसे he had started and here and there and suddenly the same topic, the discussion took place and he said, अरे उस गांव में तो ऐसा हो रहा था, आप इस गांव में ऐसे कह रहे हो, तो कैसे आपको सरकार का तो कैसे आप बताए, you know, and suddenly he that person was, you know, annoyed and he said, don't impose your thought on us, right? हमको जो experience हुआ projects का, we shared with you, right? नहीं तो आप उसी गांव में जाइए और उन्हीं से information ले लीजिए, don't come with us, you know. So this is your research ethics matter a lot when you will discuss. And हमारे कहीं urban में, you know, we love to discuss, you know, things in a more mechanical way and try to understand the people. नहीं, ऐसे करना है. Be a situational many a time, because that matters a lot to understand your research component, understand your people thoughts, attitude, perception.
So that is basically for a village. Village is still easier, I feel. What about cities? Because cities,
Cities also new. I had work on the child sex ratio, female feticide पे मैंने काम किया था 2009 पे मैंने काम किया था. It's often female feticide, and Gujarat is such a prosperous state, and there you will find it. And somehow I got the funding to work on it, you know. And I work in the city, in the Surat. You can know it's a diamond city. The capital city, Gandhinagar. The another city is of where the operational floods and those things has the generation part was there. The seeds there generate, you know. That is often Mehsana. I worked a lot. I worked with the people in the proper city I had worked upon. You know, initially, you know, I found कि ये अपनी fixed mentality लेके बैठे हैं, and then it's required, and it was very astonished when I came to know that Gandhinagar people, the capital city, the IAS, IPS, or the working people who are, they are saying that, you know, they don't, if they have the first child is a son, you know, why to go for the another child? But if first child is a daughter, then it's need to go for the another child.
Got it.
Yeah, this is there.
Thank you, ma'am, so much.
Yes, हाँ जी. Anything, प्रदीप जी, एक और कोई सवाल था?
No, I have asked both my questions. Pradeep sir
Achha.
might be here. I don't know.
Okay.
Pradeep sir, you are on mute.
Both of the questions are been answered by you. So we can move on to the next session. I request Meghna ji to start her session.
Thank you, Pradeep sir, for the invitation. And I think it was a very enriching session, which Dr. Shivani just gave. And in continuation to, you know, what she discussed, my session would be more interactive in terms of, you know, we will open a floor for discussions. So I would want everyone to interact. And at the same time, we are going to, you know, discuss some frameworks, because usually what happens is that, you know, largely we focus on our research. You know, if we have some framework, some, you know, steps in our mind in hand, so when we go on field, the entire task of collecting data and also, you know, assessing and analyzing our results based on the data that we collect becomes much more simplified and clear. So Pradeep sir, can I get the can you allow me to share my screen?
Yeah, please, you can.
All right. Can you all see my screen?
Yeah, it's starting. Not yet. Yeah, now we can see.
Yeah. All right. So I'll just start by giving a simple, you know, definition of what need assessment is all about, which is a systematic process in which we try to address the gaps that exist between the information that we want from the field, and also the information that we want for our project work. And it helps us in bridging the gap between our current conditions and also the end goal with which we started our work. Okay, and also need assessment is a very effective tool which helps us in clarifying the problems and helps us in streamlining our thoughts and decide appropriate interventions to formulate solutions for whatever work we intend to begin. So before we start with further discussion, and as Dr. Shivani already discussed a lot of her insights of the work that she did, I would want to open up the floor over here and would want you all to speak something about the studies that you have done. So what all study did you do before starting a project, or maybe after completion of your project, and how do you feel that such kind of a study helped you in making an informed decision? So would anybody like to share their experience?
I request here if Divya can speak on this, because she was working in one of the district on the same.
Yeah, so we would want everyone to be quite interactive so that we can get to know from you. You also get a chance to share your experience, and we can make the entire session to be more interactive.
Usually when I went for any of the CSR project that is for the need, primarily we are working for any of the CSR project that is inclined towards education management. And whenever I go for need assessment, I go for how the teachers are being trained for and what are the gaps areas for the teachers. Especially if I take about, if I talk about the schools, the rural schools, there are less actually learnings on yoga or sports or extracurricular activities or personality development. Like such activities are not there in the rural areas. And if I go to the urban areas, so much deviation is there, because as Madam also said, we are so much mechanical with the books that we are not at all going for our cultural heritage learning and all. So these types of gaps are there. And for getting these particular gaps, we need, I am actually using a framework where I am preparing some questionnaires and giving it to all the teachers and giving it to the management. And by those questionnaires, actually, I'm coming out with the framework, how to go for it and what can be the best solutions for those gap areas. That is how I am doing. Rest floor is open for all. You all can share how you are going for this particular thing.
That's really interesting, Pradeep. So thank you for sharing your insights. Anyone else? Would anyone else like to share their experience?
No, of course. You can proceed.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, please.
Sorry, I'm in a different field now, but I do come from a social enterprise background. I have worked with NGOs and with CSR teams. I have been doing a lot of licensing for a long time. When I say long time, it was, say, between 2012 till 2019, almost till 20, till I got into the research, visual art research. That's my side of the academics. I always wonder, when after doing the need-based assessment, after going for a pilot, many a times the CSR teams take a really long time. I mean, it's just a little bit of my, like, ek khumar reh jata hai, like, ki why do they take so much long time, that the people who have tried to pitch in with their tools of learning, there have been reports that 60%, 70% development hua, education acha hua in terms of the primary blocks. Ye aage kyun nahi badh pata hai? So that's one of the things that I always was wondering. I still wonder, because my team, Bodh Guru, which I'm representing now as an ex-colleague, that, like, our pilots were done, they were done beautifully, but somewhere things got stuck, maybe with the government end, maybe with the CSR end, and things did not float. बच्चों को जो फायदा पहुंच सकता था, वो नहीं पहुंचा. it's like, you know, एक खुमार सा रह गया. I have literally done this in Haryana में गई, मैं पंजाब में गई, मैं हिमाचल में गई, उत्तराखंड में गई, in Telangana I have been to 200 schools in a week's time. But there was nothing that move ahead from there. Like, you know, they will try out the pilot for 2 years. जब तक हमारी कमर टूट नहीं जाती, जब तक जो, like we just spoke about sustainability. We tried out BLC, that was the Bodhwood Learning Centers. We tried out with NGOs. Can their team members have a learning center installed in Panchayat Ghar, wherever, like, you know, in a village or in a city, a place like Hyderabad, I have worked for 8 years. So there, like, you know, in spite of all the study, the partnership does not happen. So it's just a little bit of question that was always there in my mind. It's always there now also. I'm in a different field now, but I still represent. I would like to pitch in for my project still. I can see this as a wonderful platform. Pradeep sir has, like, you know, I just came to know about it because I was out for a research trip the last 2 weeks. Couldn't get much time to prepare anything, but this is one thing that I wanted to ask. Ma'am just spoke about the research findings, and I could actually relate that 45% जो सबसे last में था. कोई कुछ करता ही नहीं है. टॉयलेट बना देंगे, बिल्डिंग्स बना देंगे, बट उसमें एक्चुअली लर्निंग क्या हो रहा है कोई नहीं देखता. I'm little bit like, you know, just sharing my thoughts, sharing my experience. पिच करते जाओ, टीम बंद हो जाएगी, लेकिन कुछ होगा नहीं उसका आगे. So that's one of my experience. That's my only thing. You may answer it, you may not answer it. I may be able to get my point across or not, but that's just this thing. Like,
I think
thank you for.
Yeah, I think very insightful, you know, pointers that you have shared. And,
Yeah.
you know, while I would go about, you know, discussing the frameworks next, but, you know, partially to answer to your question could be, you know, to find out the kind of organizations whose mindset matches with the vision of your organization. Because
Yeah, if I can name a few, I'll name a few like Deloitte. Like, you know, where would they lack in funds? I would name a team like Tata. Where would they lack in funds? I would name a team like Vedanta, their Nandaghar's project. They were supposed to take up 200, 300 of our projects. They just kept on talking for like, you know, 2 years or so. मैं 2012 से 2015, 2015 से 19 तक चक्कर लगाती रही, दिल्ली से हैदराबाद. I just couldn't know. In MP, we went and we met the government over there, the fellows over there. Like, you know, we were taken to so much. Secretary तक भी जाके आए, but कहाँ बात रुकती है पता नहीं चलता. मतलब किसी को education में interest नहीं है क्या? So that's just a little bit of my bad blood that somewhere has got stuck. Thank you so much. You may answer, you may not, but that was just something I wanted to express on a platform. Thank you.
So thanks Sheetal for sharing your insights. Anyone else? If anyone else would like to, you know, share their insights on the studies that they have done or anything related to that, or maybe, you know, the kind of information, the insights that they got from their study, they can, I mean, we are open to they are open to answer or maybe share their insights. All right, so I think we can quickly move ahead. Thanks, Sheetal, for sharing your insights. Would like to answer.
Welcome, and thanks for listening.
Yeah, during the time when we will be discussing the frameworks in detail. So, you know, when we are talking about need assessment model, then you know, because, you know, most of us are researchers, most of us have got so much amount of experience, most of us have been spending a lot of time on field trying to make out things, trying to bridge that gap that exists between, you know, what is happening on field and also what should be done in order to make a more equitable change in the society. So you know, having or being clear about some kind of a framework in hand always helps us in you know, being more precise when we are going on field to interact with all the people, all the members, all be it the stakeholders. So a simple need assessment model would have, firstly, identification of needs, then collecting and analysis of data, then data application, where is it that you are applying the data that you have collected from field, and then lastly, evaluation of that data. And some of the processes and tools which are very simple, which ma'am also discussed based on her experience on field, would be the data analysis part, wherein how critically you are analyzing your data based on the information that you have collected from the field, and how is it that you are using your insights provided by the stakeholders in making or maybe innovating frameworks which will help you to bridge the gap and to make your project innovative at the same time, is something that data analysis would talk about. Then comes interviews and observations, which forms to be another very crucial, very important task of need assessment, because most of the time when we are going on field, we interact with people. It could be in the form of questionnaires, which Pradeep sir just mentioned. It could also be in the form of FGDs, which ma'am mentioned in the previous session. It could also be in the form of recorded sessions, because many of the times the mother language is different, the mother tongue is different, and there is a possibility that we might not understand the language in which the people are talking to us. So using a mix and match of tools which will help you to gather data in the best possible way, and also to observe how well you are able to connect with the community people, the people who are working on ground, would form the entire base of how you collect your data. Another tool is focus group discussions, wherein you hold interactive sessions to gather input, and then use your insights, your experience, also the vision that that exists, that the stakeholders have provided to us, to formulate frameworks which will help us in validating the data, and also setting the same into some kind of a framework which leads to an innovation. Next would be developing personas. So with personas, we mean that, how do you develop your business model, or maybe how do you create a persona around all the information or all the data that you have collected from field, which will help you in gaining insights from just not one point of view from, but also will help you in analyzing different point of views, which will help you to come up with with a larger point of view, which is cohesive in nature. Okay. Then using case studies, that is another thing, because apart from the data that you collect from field, we also use this space to read a lot of journals, publish stories, stories on how we can further improve the work that has already been done by people before us. And it is over here that we start asking a lot of questions around how can we improve, how can we do it, whether we would get funding or not, who will be the relevant stakeholders with whom we will be able to establish a long-term partnership. Okay, so collectively, if we use these tools to gather data from field in the most precise way, and we are also clear about our framework that we have in our mind, our process of need assessment becomes very very crisp, I would say, and we will also start getting a lot of relevant information in terms of what the information that we should prioritize upon, what is the information that we should be collecting, and what and how is the information that needs to be presented to the stakeholder to maintain a meaningful partnership with them. So I would now quickly would like to move into the steps of need assessment, which would start from assessing the scope of the project. And over here, when you are analyzing the scope, it is always good to ask a lot of questions to yourself. The questions could be in the form of the purpose. Why is it that you want to select this particular area? Why is your study focusing on this area only? Okay, is there a background research on that? uh, who will be using the results, or how can the results that you generate by doing or maybe starting a fresh project in that particular area benefit the society or maybe the stakeholder in large, or maybe can help the government to bring about a policy level change in the society. So another could be to think about what would be the resources that you would require, because when you are going on field, there are times when you might land up in an area uh, for which you would require resources apart from the resources that you already have when you are actually going on for any kind of field work. So what kind of resources do you require when you would be actually spending a month or two in your field work? Given the socio and political demography of a particular field is something that you also need to look into. Then how would you involve the community? Like in the earlier discussion, wherein one participant asked a question around the question that how does one develop or maybe maintain a connect with the community members when they have one kind of a frame set fixed in their mind. So how do you think that you are going to approach these people with your framework, and whether they will be ready to listen to you or not? Okay, then who will be your key decision makers? Who are the various entities who are involved? Who are the stakeholders who are going to fund you? Who are the people who are going to help you out and bringing about a policy level intervention? Who are the other private players or maybe enablers who can help you in maintaining good partnerships with which you can scale up and accelerate your work? So before starting any kind of work, you first need to ask yourself a lot of questions which will help you in determining the scope of the project. Okay, and at the same time it will help you in giving very clear answers, or maybe will help you to prompt or do some kind of a further research, so that you are able to get those kind of answers which will help you in streamlining your problem statement for which you are going on field to find those answers. Then the next would come is to determine the assessment criteria. Once you have determined the scope as to why is it that you are starting out, the next would be to determine how is it that you are going to assess. So like Pradeep sir just mentioned that he generally comes up with a set of questions, and then based on the answers or maybe the forms that get filled, he develops a framework around those the already existing condition which is existing at the ground level. So how is it that you are preparing your framework, and what is the criteria that you are using in order to develop your framework, which will help in bringing about some kind of an innovation which does not exist at the moment, based on the work that is going on at the field. And this assessment framework that you design for your work will also help you in prioritizing your needs. You will know that what are the top 3 things that you should do next in order to accelerate your work around the project. The next comes is data collection and planning around the same. At times when we are engrossed into big projects, we end up collecting a lot of data, and we have large data sets, and I think everybody can relate to the same. So how you are planning the entire set of data that is there in front of you? what kind of methodology that you are going to use when you are going on field, in the, which whether it would be in the form of qualitative data, quantitative data, or mixed methods. Okay, what are the criteria that will help you in evaluating your study so that you are able to come up with the next 3 top most important questions that will help you in or maybe that will help you in forging the right kind of partnership support for a long period of time. Okay, so developing a plan around the data that we collect on field is very necessary, because if we go unprepared, we will land up visiting so many towns, so many cities, so many villages, but at the end of it, we would not know what is to be done with the large data set that we have collected from the ground. And we get so attached to that data because that is like our hard work that we have done on field. So we don't want, you know, anybody to criticize or maybe anybody to say anything negative based on the data that you have collected. So in order to avoid those situations, it would be very good for everyone. It is desirable for everyone to go up to before going on field, just plan out that how is it that you are going to collect your data and what are the methods that you are going to use, so that you are able to come up with very clean, precise information, and you are also able to get infer results. I partially agreed that, you know, these frameworks, even though when we prepare for ourselves, at times, many a times it happens that, you know, things turn out completely opposite when we go on field, because field work is very unpredictable. Sometimes the situation sometimes situations are different, but how can we keep on innovating our frameworks so that we are able to get that kind of an information which will help us in bridging the gap between, you know, where we want to reach and where we are at the moment, will help us really in innovating our project and also the framework around the same, and will help us in getting meaningful partnership support with a lot of like-minded organizations. The next comes collection, analysis, and presentation of data. So once we are done, you know, collecting data on from the field, using mixed methods on or the kind of methods that would be relevant for our study, the next would be how critically we are analyzing, how creatively we are developing framework around the same, which nobody has done it before, and also how eventually we are able to present it in front of the funders, the stakeholders, the partners with whom we will be able to forge meaningful partnership is the next step that we would want to work on. And while presenting the data, your data, even though you have done a lot of work in the field work, it has to be very precise, because when you are going to your stakeholders, your CSR partners, the more crisp you are in delivering your idea to them, the better are the chances that they will support you. And also they are really interested in knowing your intent behind doing your project. So if you could formulate a story around the work that you are doing, and also are able to present it in the most precise manner, that will help you in gaining meaningful partnership support with a lot of organization that can help you in carrying out your projects for a long-term basis. Also, applying the criteria and prioritizing the needs. So determining your decision-making strategy. Once you are approaching your stakeholders, so going to each and every company, or maybe approaching each and every person over here would not be a good idea just because you want funds. You need to be selective, because you have done your study, you have gone onto the field to collect the data based on the kind of experience that you have, based on the kind of background that you come from. So you need to have that confidence in yourself that when you are approaching any company for funds, you will be selective enough to assess whether, you know, their vision or the vision of the organization matches with the work that you are doing, and whether or not they will be able to support you for a long period of time based on the kind of work that you want to you know, carry out, and also keeping in mind the duration of your work, and also your vision of scaling up your project. So you know, over here, making strategizing, you know, your entire work, and determining who will be your relevant key stakeholders with whom you should approach, who will be able to maintain a meaningful partnership with you, so that, you know, you mutually benefit with the work of each other, and at the same time are able to create an ecosystem which will help out the community in large, is what one needs to think about. Okay, and if this is done carefully, if this is done selectively, there are high likely chances that, you know, you will be able to find those organizations who really, you know, admire the idea with which you started working on field, and also are ready to support, because they see some kind of a win-win situation between the kind of work that you are doing and also the work that they are doing. Lastly, it would be, you know, to identify the next steps. So once you have done all your research work, you have presented your work, the next step would be to, you know, identify ways, or maybe prioritize needs that will help you in determining the next step of where do you, or where would you like to see yourself taking this project forward. Okay, would you like to continue with this project, or maybe would you like to, you know, devise a new angle to the project which will help you in you know, gaining more meaningful partnerships or support, is something that you need to work upon. And also at the same time, discuss your ideas with these stakeholders, with the members, with your partner organization, and see what is it that they have to share. And, you know, if, you know, that proper communication happens, the proper interaction happens, and and if, you know, you are able to communicate your thoughts and your ideas in the best possible way, there is no way that, you know, you will not be able to you will not just be able to you know, communicate your entire research work that you have done on field, but at the same time will be able to forge meaningful partnership, which would create an ecosystem of a win-win situation, wherein all the partners will be able to, you know, benefit from the work, the research, or your expertise, and will be able to support you in the best possible way. So with this, I would like to end my presentation over here, and would like to open up questions for, you know, more insights if anybody would like to share. So over to you, Pradeep, sir.
Thanks, Meghnati, for so much interactive session, and of course the strategization of how exactly the need assessment is. I too will cover certain points here, but I would like to know actually if some of the queries or questions are there, so that we can address. If anyone is having, I am covering the answer for the first question by Shreya Jain. She was asking actually how to go for the difference in the thoughts between the rural area or the urban area, or exactly once we are pitching out any of the project. If she is into Psychology Connect and she is working for the themes wherein she is trying to go for creating an ecosystem where people should know about the psychology and psychology reading and all those things. What you need to do is see every time whenever we are doing, we need to create first the awareness towards the beneficiaries. If we are not creating an awareness towards the beneficiaries, then this ecosystem and this yes will not come up. See, if at all, either you are in rural area or you are in urban area. If we are not at all, first we need to actually create an awareness about that. If they don't know about the disease, you need to create an awareness about the disease first. What can be the case studies on this thing? What can be the differences on those things? That is how for health and sanitation we are working for. First, we create the awareness about that. What is the difference exactly is there? What is the gap in between that particular standardized and or the good health? Then if these people, either the urban or the rural area, whatever the people are, whoever is the beneficiary, if they really come out with the understanding of this, that okay, this is required, जब वो बोलेंगे कि हाँ मेरे को ये जरूरत है, एंड वो बोलेंगे तभी देन, जब आप ये बोलेंगे कि ये कम हो रहा है, ये देखिए ये हेल्दी आदमी ऐसा है, this difference is required to be actually exhibited by creating an awareness. So कम से कम आपको कभी भी इस चीज पे जाएंगे तो you need to create an awareness for some 1 to 2 months sitting out there in the rural area. That is what Simani madam was telling actually. We are creating first the awareness towards those people. जब वो awareness create हो जाती है, then they come up with a yes. And once this yes is actually coming up, then actually the need assessment goes on. That 4W we are actually working on. How, what, when, who, where, those all things are being answered there. But we need to create this particular awareness first, and these people will come out with their need then. Then they will speak on for those needs, and then you can present. And to the second question, which Sitalji is not there, actually she has one other session. She was asking that she was running behind the corporates to and fro for that. Of course, Meghna madam has covered certain things on that. See, once we are preparing anything for CSR funding for the corporates, 4 things we need to actually think for beforehand while pitching to the corporates. Firstly, there can be a different agenda, or there can be a different shared agenda among the corporates, which is not at all aligned with your segment. And that can be one of the impediment for that. That is why you are not getting anything positive, which whatever you are presenting. In any of the theme, whatever you are presenting, that is not aligning with their particular agenda. That is the one set. Because of these things, people are not getting the funding. Second thing, of course, there is a communication downturn. Usually, whatever the corporates are doing, whatever the corporates are actually funding on, or whatever the year-based themes are there, that is being not shared to those people across length. Of course, they are giving it in the national newspaper, but still our NGOs, our societies, our trust, and of course, so many people are there, those who are not at all aware about this, although they are giving in national newspapers. So these people should know that they should go through the national newspapers too. Whenever any of such RFP is coming around, what is that RFP? What is the standardization of RFP? What is the requirement of that particular RFP? You need to go through complete RFP and then you need to apply for that. Then comes, of course, the year-based theme is there for all the corporates and even the PSUs also. Corporates are, of course, they are funding for 3 years or 5 years. But PSUs, they are funding as per the theme-based. Suppose I was working in the with one of the this thing project under MHRD. They were also funding for the CSR, but every year they were actually going for some of the different things. I keep on banging on them, sir, CSR दे दो, CSR दे दो, CSR दे दो. They said, Pradeep ji, इस साल का theme ये हो गया. So PSU is going through, CPSI is going through the theme-based activities. So you need to know about those themes, what are the themes, and of course, yes, who all are the real decision makers in CSR. This you need to know more, because there you need to pitch your project. And that is what exactly is once we are talking about the CSR pitching. Whenever we are trying to go for a CSR pitching, you should know about the decision makers, so that you are pitching your thing to the perfect and immediate person, those who are taking the decisions. That is what. Let me share some more insights on that, and let me go through the chat box also. If someone is amazing and insightful, thank you, ma'am. Brinita said amazing and insightful session by Simani madam and Meghna. Thanks to Simani and Meghna for this, and thanks to Shreya also. Let me share my screen. I too will take some 5 minutes or so that I can share what exactly is. Yeah. Are you able to see my screen? So usually, of course, Meghna ji has covered this thing that whenever we talk about the need assessment is we are trying to find out what, when, who, and where. That is what the need assessment is. And there are the three models or three phases of the need assessment. First is to explore what is, then to gather, analyze data, and then the making decisions. That is what the things are. Under what is, we need to prepare a plan, a management plan should be there. Concerns, we need to take care of how the concerns are. What all the measurable indicators under what is, we need to define. Neatly, we need to define it that what all the measurable indicators. Because if we are not at all measuring these measurable indicators, then once we are pitching up as a need assessment towards the CSR funding, this will not go on. And data sources will be there. You need to define who all are the, from where you have taken these data sources, either the secondary data or the primary data. This you need to define it beforehand. Now, preliminary practice, you need to decide whether you are going for education, whether you are going for health, whether you are going for environment. This you need to decide preceptly. Then you have to go for the target grouping. Are you going for a children, or are you going for the age, senior citizens, or are you going for women? That is how you have to actually go for it. Precise your data to the defined needs, whatever the defined needs. Suppose you are working for any of the health issue, then you have to define for the health issue. Otherwise, you have to define as per your the prioritization of that particular theme. Prioritize your needs, identify and analyze the causes. What causes are, of course, suppose I'm talking about here the health reasons. If I take the case of Hasna Foundation, if Hasna Foundation is going for a need assessment, Hasna's Foundation has to prepare for what? They have to prepare for what can be the causes because of dental diseases. What are the causes for those dental diseases, and what can be those actions to immediately actually address those causes? What can be the actions? So if you actually are analyzing and if you are identifying these causes, then only you can prepare the action plan for that. That is how the need assessment goes. Once you are summarizing your findings, then only you can prepare a report. So this is the segment actually. This is a very neatly connected segment for need assessment. That if you have a target group, then only you can prioritize your needs. If you have a data set, then only you can say the possible solutions for that. How you can go for a solution to the strategies. This is how for the need assessments. This is what actually I have delivered. Prioritize your needs, perform casual. Whatever the causes are there, you need to analyze, select one or more solutions, and present that particular solution, which one is the best one fitting for that particular segment or the target group. That is how the things are. This is a tool wherein we are defining. This is a usually I keep on doing with this particular tool how to go for a need assessment. What all the needs are there? What can be the causes for those? What can be the consequences for those causes if I go for that particular thing? What can be the difficulty to correct? Either whatever I am pitching, suppose I am pitching any of the solution. Is it a solution which is looking out for more funding towards this particular thing, or this is asking for more of the people or resources to be coming? So this we need to be critically presented. What we require to be actually present, what we require as in resources for this particular need assessments. This will give a better idea to the CSR funders that okay, they required fund or they required the human being, or human being is required to actually cater that particular need, or human other resources are required to that particular need. This is how we need to present it, and these are the some of the data which we usually as an academia or as a CSR professionals, we all are doing actually. During education planning, we have done this thing for some of the 13 states, and we have taken some of those scores for the students. What exactly those scores are? State assessment scores and test scores, criteria reference scores. For early childhood, it was different. For language, it was different. For computer literacy, it was different. The complete set, of course, which I have presented, which I am presenting here, it is totally based on about that particular education project. And we have analyzed as per the test courses, how the school involvement is there, how the teachers are involved in that particular this, how the family background of those students are there, what exactly those family backgrounds are working for that, how the academic progress can go on from first standard to fifth standard, what can be the segment, from sixth standard to 12th standard, what can be the segment, and of course higher end also. We have curated that particular thing also, and personal characteristic and health indicators we have taken. In this the health indicator, in this particular health indicator, if you see, we keep on doing this medical screening result or the dental screening result or visual screening result through the primary health camps only. Whenever we are going for a primary health camp, we keep on record of these particular subset, and that is how we are actually presenting this particular health indicators for that particular segment of people or target group. And this is how everyone has to go for once they are going for a CSR pitching. This is one of the case study I have taken from one of the ICA member. They have presented one of the need assessment regarding the cultural. There was a one building. In that particular building, what they were focusing is how to transform that particular building into a different set, so that cultural heritage learning can go on. And there were certain interventions being done, and there were certain issues that is being done. And based on those intervention and issues which they have catered, the plan was executed. And this was the plan, actually. This was the plan of this particular segment, where they were actually first went to the need assessment for that particular building. What exactly we need to focus on, which area we need to be in the gray shade, or which area we need to be with more visualization of art, which area we need to be more visualization with the heritage of our country or that particular state. And based on those particular strategies, they have actually, there was a modification carried out in that particular heritage building. And you know where that building is? That building is in Gurgaon only. So you can very well go there. Just go to the restoration of cultural heritage site in Gurgaon. They have curated the need assessment for that particular building. And based on that particular need assessment, based on that particular study, they have actually modified this particular area. That is a cultural heritage site. And this was the CSR project. And under CSR, they did this. And it was a marvelous actually work, wherein the case study was there for need assessment. And I took from there only this particular thing. So thanks. I think this might help you all regarding how the need assessment is and what can be the framework for the need assessment. We will be sharing the complete video and of course the documents also to you all. But document will be shared after the post this conference, that is 6th of September. But on daily basis, whatever the recordings will be there, that will be shared to you all. If at all any such questions are there, please let us know here itself so that we can answer, or through email ID also, you can share your questions or queries to us. Thank you to all. Goodbye. Enjoy your Sundays. And thank you for being with us for this evening Sunday, where you might be enjoying with your family members or outings too. But be specifically take care of your health because of the corona. Thanks to all. If at all anyone any such questions are there, please let me know, or I will end up the meet. I don't feel any such queries. If at all it is there, please let us know through the mail ID. Thanks to all the speakers and thanks to all the learners present here. Thank you. I'm ending.
Thank you. Thank you.